Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new to the channel, I guess. So this is something new I've been trying. It's basically just me going through all the movies I watched last month, not ranking them or reviewing them or trying to sound super smart, just talking through what I watched, what I like, what didn't work for me, and how half of these films randomly ended up on my watch list at 2 in the morning. I've always wanted to make this kind of video, like the casual here's everything I watched this month thing. I love watching these on other people's channels, so I thought instead of overthinking like I usually do, why not just start? If that sounds like your thing, great, you're in the right place. Let's just get into it. I started the month off with The Death of a Unicorn, the film starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Both of them are solid in their roles, which unfortunately I cannot say about the film itself. This one is actually a pretty boring venture once you take out the fun or the somewhat interesting part of the film, which happens in the first 15 minutes. So rest assured, the rest of the film is a weird slog fest that will test your patience in the worst possible ways. It's a weird take on capitalism and how the rich exploit everything that they can get their hands on, but it just makes a mess of everything and every topic it tries to indulge into. It takes way too long to get to the point, and when it does, there's very little interest or patience left in the viewer to care one bit. Then I watched Demolition, the 2015 film starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Naomi Watts. This one I have to say I enjoyed much more than the last time I watched it. The premise is a little out there, but Jake Gyllenhaal gives such an earnest and heartfelt performance that you cannot seem to look away. I know that the general perception of this film is pretty mixed, but I really enjoyed it, and personally I felt there's probably a strong chance the film hooked me was because how subtle and how deeply moving and intricate each performance and each storyline is carved out to be. I really liked it, but I wish it focused more on the story of Jake's character, who he is, why is he the way that he is. The film never answers those questions, but except for that, there's a lot to enjoy here. After that, I watched Dogma. Finally, Kevin Smith's religious satire is wild in the best possible ways. It's messy, chaotic, occasionally offensive, but always aiming for something sincere underneath all that irreverence. Alan Rickman as the voice of God's frustration is brilliant. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as two rogue angels are surprisingly great. It's not a film I'd recommend to just anyone, but if you're willing to roll with the weirdness and aren't too precious about religious themes being poked at, it's kind of brilliant. Not perfect by any means, but I'm glad I finally gave it a try. Then I watched Kurban, the 2009 Bollywood film starring Kareena Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan, which focuses on a post 9/11 America and tells the story of these immigrants, both Kareena and Saif, who get married and move to the States. It's a deeply unsettling movie once it gets going. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's a fairly intricate commentary on the South Asian diaspora post 9/11 and how much hatred and despair had been poured into people's heart after such an international tragedy. It's a very moving portrayal of betrayal and love and loss above all. Kareena in this film, I have to admit, gives such a moving performance, and man, what can I say? I just miss a time when Bollywood really actually was trying to tell good stories. Then I watched The Fall Guy, and listen, this one's just pure fun. Ryan Gosling is clearly having the time of his life, and Emily Blunt is so charming you could basically bottle her energy and sell it. It's got that old school action comedy vibe, and even when the plot feels a bit too self-aware or too thin, the film's sheer charisma carries it through. The behind the scenes stunt world setting adds a fresh spin, and some of the action set pieces are genuinely fantastic. It's not life-changing cinema, but it's an absolute blast, and if you're in the mood for something slick and entertaining, this one is definitely it. And honestly, we need more action movies that just remember to be fun. Then I watched Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I have already made a video on this one, so for my complete thoughts, go check out that one. But all I'm going to say is that it's truly an end of an era and a very sweet and final goodbye, if that's truly the case, for this franchise and for Ethan Hunt. It's truly one of those films that you have to catch it in a cinema to truly experience the larger impact of it and to understand why you actually fell in love with the movies in the first place. It's great, it's bonkers, and it's absolutely worth every minute. Then I watched Sanju, the 2018 biopic of Sanjay Dutt. It's a very Bollywood version of a very troubled life, glossy, emotional, and melodramatic in all the expected ways. But Ranbir Kapoor completely disappears into the role, and for that alone, I feel like it's worth a watch. I don't know how historically accurate it all is, and I doubt it's entirely unbiased, but it does paint a very compelling portrait of a man who's constantly at war with himself and all the world's perception of him. Not a flawless film by any means, but definitely a very gripping one. Then I rewatched Legally Blonde. It's still a classic in my books. Reese Witherspoon's Elle Woods remains one of the most underrated characters in modern cinema. Smart, stylish, underestimated, and never willing to dim her light for anyone. It's such a comfort watch, but also sneakily empowering. I love how it flips every dumb blonde stereotype on its head and gives you something genuinely inspiring without ever feeling too heavy handed. Then I watched The Social Network, a film I keep coming back to. Every time I rewatch it, it hits a little harder. The pacing, the score, the writing, everything is so tight. Jesse Eisenberg's Mark Zuckerberg is equal parts pathetic and terrifying, and the way Fincher captures ambition, ego, betrayal, and loneliness in a 2 hour runtime is absolute masterclass. Honestly, it might be a defining movie of the 2010s, not just because of the subject matter, but because of how eerily prophetic it feels now. Then I watched La La Land, a film I return to once in a while just to feel something. It's romantic, it's tragic, it's beautiful, it's infuriating. The colors, the music, the heartbreak of ambition, it just gets to me every time. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are magnetic, and even if the ending still wrecks me every time, I love that it doesn't go for the easy route. It's about chasing dreams and the price you pay for them. A modern musical classic, absolute no doubt about it. After that, I watched A Quiet Place Day 1, and I have to say it didn't work for me. I found it pretty boring. I get what they were trying to do, ground the story in a more personal, emotional space, but for a film set during the literal apocalypse, it feels surprisingly flat. The tension never really builds up the way it should have. And aside from a few nice moments, I was mostly just waiting for it to end. A bit of a letdown, especially compared to the first two films. Then I watched The Intern, and this one was just the cinematic equivalent of a warm hug. It's comforting, it's sweet, and it has no interest in reinventing the wheel, which honestly makes it kind of refreshing. Robert De Niro is perfectly understated, and Anne Hathaway is so effortlessly likable here. It's just a nice movie about people being decent to each other, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. And finally, I ended the month with Friends Reunion. Watching this one feels like opening an old photo album, equal parts nostalgic and bittersweet. It was sentimental seeing the original sets again, the clips, the bloopers, all of it just hits differently, especially now in the wake of a person who played such an integral part in the show not being in the world. But I do wish it had been more about them, less James Corden, less Justin Bieber, more about the core six, just talking, reflecting on the time that went by. I really wanted to hear more about their lives post Friends, how they felt about the fame, the aftermath, their friendships 3 decades on. There were few glimpses of that, sure, but not enough. Still, for what it was, it gave me a closure I didn't know I needed. If you grew up with Friends, you'll definitely have a ball with this one. So that's it for me. Drop down any thoughts you have regarding any particular movie mentioned there down in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more of these reviews and analysis. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.